carrying on from our recent videos of warriors being rated, gunners being rated, air class being rated, we've now got on to special class being rated. It's actually the biggest class in the game, so it's going to be a huge rating video. So be sure to check part 1 and part 2. Get out, guys. So let's kick it off with the game's favourite character, Optimus Prime. So he's one of those bots that's never actually been fully working properly as he should. Always been slightly broken, but it's not him that's broken. The problem is that when he rushes, bots that have passives, things like that, animations, don't tend to follow him very well. It's going to be very hard to fix him. But it's been a long sort of standing bug, which is a shame on the sort of the game's main character. But it can be useful in a lot of situations. You still see him in top level wars, because if your team's walking away wayward, it will pull most of the bots in. Sometimes all of them, sometimes not, but it will pull a big chunk. So it depends what you're trying to do with him. If you're trying to rush around a base and skip half of it, it can cause so many problems. I wouldn't advise it. If you want him in your team, so that if you're running out of time, and the HQ is just within reach, but it's only got 2 bots hitting the HQ, and you want to drag them all to HQ and finish it off, Optimus Prime is a great bot for that. If your bots are splitting on a walk and you want to drag them back in again, he's a great bot for that. So it depends if you use him in a walk or use him to rush. Use him to rush, not so good. If you're using him in a walk, he's actually pretty decent. So I'm going to put him in B because he is quite buggy. He is a half decent bot, but he has his uses, but they're not in other ways as well. He also doesn't have any sort of shield or anything like that. So he doesn't really survive very well in the game at top levels. So we'll put him as B, which is a shame because then he's Optimus Prime. Next up we have Beast Wars Prowl. So not a very good bot, if I'm honest with you. When he came out, he was very average. I remember saying this in playtests, saying that he wasn't very good. Some of the playtesters offered to give him some little buffs, damage against walls, things like that. I was like, it's not good enough, sadly. And so he does okay damage. I can imagine him being quite alright at lower levels. But I wouldn't say he's useless, but I would put him at C. Next up, quite a fan favourite, is Kup. Now, Kup, absolutely vital backdoor attacks. Really, really good bot. If they do go down the route of nerfing Ruination and we have to Golden Lagoon again, he is the bot for it. Now, sadly though, outside of that, he's pretty useless in the game. You could do a bit of Zen farming, things like that. But if you're doing a walk, you're not going to take Kup. If you're doing a Russian smash, you're not going to take Kup. So he can be absolutely amazing when it comes to backdoors. Can be good in leveling. Outside of that, not so good. So I'm going to put him in A tier because he just has some really good uses. Next, we have Beachcomber. Now, granted, we're doing this for any kind of fix on Beachcomber, but I even feel like after they've fixed Beachcomber, I still think that he'll be S tier even after the fix, because he's absolutely stratospheric right now. Absolutely unbelievable. Even good on attack. When I was reviewing this bot, I was saying, yeah, he'd be really good on defense, not so good on offense. They brought other combats out to improve him even better. Brought a G1 core out, made him even better. And his stats just went through the roof. And he's actually the bot to get in outpost right now. And I even feel like after he's fixed, I still sort of feel like it'd probably still be S tier even then. Next up, we've got Saber. So Saber came out to much praise, was a very good bot, quite expensive though, but did amazing around HQ 15, 16 days. And then slowly but surely, as HP on defenses increased, started going a bit backwards. And they did bring out a specific combat for him, specific core for him, but it didn't really hit the nail on the head. Very good at lower levels where the HP is low, so when it goes back to the HQ 16 days, when the lower leagues have lower HP because of the debuffs for lower leagues in wars, he is still really, really good. But once you get to higher levels, you find him far too expensive and doesn't really do much for the cost that he costs to use. And so for me, I'm going to put him in C tier. Next up, we've got Slash. Slash is a bit of an interesting one. So front-loaded bases, I can imagine her being very, very good, along with Drift. We're seeing them being used a lot more. But the problem with Slash is those Flare Mines, which absolutely annihilate her. She can be good for leveling. Some pathing issues. She did have a buff where she got a damage buff and she got a range increase, which made her a bit better. I don't think she's bad enough to go in C. I would say B. She has some really good uses, but you just find that she doesn't really fit in any team really. She's just sort of a standalone bot that can be good. And with the increase in HP for HU18, she's really struggled against the shield generator and against the HQ core, which increases the resistance on the HQ against abilities. So she really struggles against HQ18, but still a decent bot. Next up, we've got Hound Vamp, and he's one of those bots that when you look on paper, you think he sounds really good, but doesn't really hit with the glass gas and the damage, and never really found any sort of meta that he fits in. Granted, he doesn't have a 5-star version, so maybe that's part of the reason. Maybe that's the reason he's so poor, though, that he's never actually been looked at and been overlooked. So for me, it's going to be in, yeah, I think D tier. Not a very good bot at all. Next, we've got Blur. Blur was a very good sack bot for a time. You see him less and less and less now, so I think he'd be still decent for Zen farming, but not used as much. Still half decent bot though. So for me, B is sort of those bots that are half decent, but don't really have a real place in the game, or a buggy, or you don't see as much in ward, but have a use somewhere. So B for Blur. Next, we have Alpha Trion. Now, when Alpha Trion came out, I literally said that I didn't rate him, didn't like him. I didn't like the fact that he gave a short buff to everyone. Because for me, when you use Alpha Trion, you've got 10 seconds. And so you're trying to use the air bots to try and do damage very quickly because you've only got 10 seconds. And then you're trying to use your warriors got more protection, and then 10 seconds, and 10 seconds is a really short window to use all these abilities, and so it's kind of chaos trying to use Alpha Trion to improve everything. Granted, in a war team, it'll give you a speed up, but we've got Wheeljack can do that, so why do you need Alpha Trion? So I kind of feel like he's in sort of C tier, where he doesn't really do much that well. He's okay, but not great. Next up, we've got Sentius Magnus. Bit of a hard one, this, because he can be really powerful in lower leagues. Higher leagues, not so much. Obviously, he has his own core now, which increases the ability damage. And so, yeah, you get a bit out of him. But I just feel like he's not quite there yet. And so I'm going to put him in B tier. Decent amount of damage, but that's about it, really. Next, we've got Elita One. Elita One kind of making a bit of a comeback. People are finding that sacking base with Elita One with the with a G1 core makes her invulnerable for a while, and so she can hit Billbot, she can pop outposts and survive it, and then jump again. And so I'm gonna actually put Elita One in A tier. Like I said, coming back into wars. Doing well for sack teams. She's also good for leveling. Also good for Zen farming. Has quite a few uses. Making a bit of a comeback in the game. Next, we have Chromia. Chromia, I would probably put in around B tier. Quite pesky in outposts for lower players. Massively utilised for lower players like HU 17, 16. But since she was brought out in the 5-star batch, she's actually gone backwards and got it a lot worse. Not used on offense at all, and I was hoping when she was brought in the 5-star batch, I was hoping that she would be brought back to life on offense. But sadly not. If anything, she's got worse. They've taken her stung on offer, and so sadly she's going to go into D tier. She's dropped down quite incredibly. Next, we've got Grapple. So Grapple, he was kind of designed to try and be an alternative to Rock, but with special bots. But he never actually sort of hit them heights, because I sort of said in testing that If he's a frontline bot, then you need him to have really good HP. But I kind of get they were going down the special route rather than the warrior route, so I kind of got that. But I said if we're gonna have the mine, it needs to be a lot more damage. And again, didn't really hit them heights. Although he's half decent, the mine's all right. I kind of feel like he's kind of C tier. Next we have Rhyox. Rhyox is half decent, does decent damage, does a lot of healing. His G1 core that reinvigorate his vines are very good. So quite a good bot. Even good on defense, because what happens on defense is once he uses the ability, his vines come out, and then when he drops below, I think it's 50%. I find that his vines come out again. His ability to get 2 used to that ability. Any bot sort of does that in an outpost gets a thumbs up from me. I love that. You get 2 uses out of him, or a vector, anything like that. Anything that sort of gets more uses out of them rather than just using one ability out of an outpost. It's just something a bit different, something to work around. So for me, I think Rhyox goes into B tier. I think it's a safe place to put him. Next we have Snarl. Snarl doesn't have any kind of shield, lacks any kind of real damage, runs off because he's quite fast. And so Snarl is pretty awful and goes straight into D tier. Next we have Scattershot. So we have to take consideration that Scattershot shoots acid, which automatically makes him pretty good, but not amazing. But the fact it's a special bot means he gets up close and personal a bit too much than other bots that have acid effects like Skids. So he does get into trouble. His acid damage is half decent. He's better at lower leagues than he is at higher leagues. You won't really see him in any high level war team, but you may see him in some lower level ones, and a lot of lower level players sort of look at some of these ratings sometimes and go, I can't believe you've rated him so low. But that's because he can actually take out defenses in lower leagues, but not in higher leagues. And obviously that acid is vital as well. So for me, I'm going to put him in B tier with a proviso that if that was in a higher league, it'd probably be in C. But in general, he's pretty decent at low levels. So I think if you're a lower level player, I think he's a good bot to level. But once you get to the high levels of the game, I think he kind of struggles a bit. Next, we've got Vector Prime. When Vector Prime came out, I was quite disillusioned with him. Thought his hollows lacked any kind of punch, really. Any kind of use. Didn't like him at all. He was sold as like an outpost popper. But again, never really beat Rook, who's really, really old content. And so for me, has very little use. And for me, Vector Prime goes straight into D tier. Next, we've got Afterbreaker. Afterbreaker, bit of a hard one because when it comes to sack, he is extremely good. Extremely good. Outside of that, not much really. There's not many uses for Afterbreaker outside of a sack, but he is one of the best bots in the game for sack. So again, I'm going to put him in B tier because I think that if you're a sack player, he might even go in. He might go to A. He may even go to S tier for a sack player. But I think that if you're not a sack player, you could easily go into D tier as well. And so I'm going to put him in B with a proviso that he can be really useful against some defenses and some base layouts, but not others, and you wouldn't bother. So if you are going to sort of level him, then just keep that in mind, that he doesn't suit every single base. And so if you're going to invest in him, then he's not a every single war team kind of bot. Next up, we have Robbuster. Robbuster, interesting one. Good, obviously, against the shield gen. Good at taking MDS out that are standalone, things like that. Quite expensive, though. I feel like, I'm pretty sure last year he would have been put in S tier when the shield gen was a massive problem, when the MDS was a massive problem. But we've found new ways to take out the shield gen now that are a lot cheaper. And so I don't feel like he's A tier, S tier anymore. Is he A tier? Yeah, I'd say just about A tier. He's not quite. He's above B tier, to be fair to him. He's still A tier. He's still good. I can imagine lower level players turning to him to take out key defenses. He's still a decent bot. So we'll stick him in A tier. Next up, we've got Gnaw. I think I put Gnaw in S tier many, many years ago. But he's not improved since. He's never really progressed. he's kind of got stuck where he is as an average bot now. His minions die very quickly. They haven't really raised in HP. Even when he got to level 70, they do a lot of damage, but the HP has sort of ruined the Sharks. We talked about Blaster versus Gnaw. I think it was last year, and I said how even Blaster was sort of struggling at the time. And the HP of his minions, which are massively more than Gnaw's, and so Blaster will automatically, probably be rated higher than Gnaw. So for me, Gnaw goes into C tier. That his Sharks can do a decent amount of damage at low levels, maybe in certain teams, but I think that's as high as he goes, really. Next up, we've got Optimus. Very, very good bot. Absolutely amazing. Into S tier. Does a lot of damage in a huge area, especially at ability 11. Granted, it's fire damage. You've got the anti-fire cores, which are massively in the meta at the minute. But it doesn't matter. It's still a really, really good bot. Take out those build bots and it can do a huge amount of damage in a great area. And that is it for part 1, guys. So if you enjoyed this video, check out part 2. Come back for the next video and check it out.